The Earth is a water planet, but global water resources are under attack. From dead zones to overfishing, rising seas to plastic pollution, our water planet is changing in ways that threaten us all. The good news is solutions exist, and Earth Echo is on a mission to find them. I'm Philippe Cousteau. Our fisheries are on the verge of collapse around the world. Join me as we explore solutions to restoring them to sustainability. On Earth Echo Expeditions, What's the Catch? Previously, we saw how Dr. Martin Attrill used a beam trawl as a way to do a fish survey. But the majority of trawls aren't used this way. In fact, trawling has been responsible for massive disruptions of our marine environment.
It tows on the seabed, and that chain is actually disturbing any of the fish that are in front of it. So the fish swim up and they get caught in the net. And it only takes 1 or 2 trawls, and there's not a lot left.
The byproduct of that is that it also mows down any living other structure.
As much as we'd like to hope trawlers only catch the exact fish they're trying for, unfortunately, that is simply not the case. Bycatch is a terrible consequence of these large-scale fishing methods. Sharks, dolphins, turtles, whales, and many others all get swept up in these nets. In addition to wiping out habitat, these large corporate trawlers have rights to more fish than local fishermen running small boats.
So if you look at just the UK, 78% of our fishing fleet is smaller than this boat. 98% of the quota, so the ability to catch our fish which are controlled, go to these big boats, the over 10s. And whereas all this 4,800 vessels and 5,000 fishermen only have 1% of the quota. And this one boat here, it's Dutch owned, but it's got 23% of the British quota. So that one vessel is allowed to catch 23% of our fish.
And it employs 55 people.
55 people.
And the huge disparity in what fishermen can bring in is determined by quotas. And at the Plymouth fish market, we find quotas don't always accomplish their goal.
So the quota system was, I think, with best intentions, designed as a way to kind of try to manage them effectively so that not too many fish are being harvested. But there are some challenges with how that system works.
A lot of the quota allocations were based historically on data collected in the 1970s, when the world was a different place. And certainly the marine environment was a different place, so that different species were in the area at the time. And to hold on to that and use that as your baseline for 40, 50 years into the future creates a problem.
How can that be done more effectively?
It needs to be more locally managed. Having local knowledge, local data and responsiveness on a local basis is the key to successful management.
Local data becomes more important by the day as warming waters and more extreme conditions alter our oceans.
Is climate change a big concern for fishermen?
Yes, particularly where the quota system backfires. If it's not up to date and accurate to what is happening there now, then to set quotas for something that you patently know isn't there because it's moved to the North Sea or further north to colder waters, why are you giving a man quota for something he can't catch? It's like picking strawberries in December.
Managing our fish stocks effectively is important to the environment and the future of the fishing industry.
It shouldn't be a free-for-all, and it's not in the fishermen's interest to be destroying the environment that's providing their living or for the future or for their children. It's tomorrow's fish. It has to be done in a careful way.
At the National Marine Aquarium, I've come to learn how science is used to help develop quotas and hopefully safeguard tomorrow's fish. Mackerel are local to these waters and live 17 to 20 years on average.
What is the life cycle of a mackerel?
They reach sort of maturity at around 2 years of age. Spawn around the spring, sort of beginning of the summer.
So if we go in and catch them all when they're young, it's going to have an impact on the population.
One way to learn more about the life cycle of fish is through dissections like this one. Stu delicately shows me different aspects of the mackerel that give clues to its habitat.
What does all of this then tell you in a nutshell in terms of big picture.
There are scientists whose job it is to take samples from fishermen and do these sort of investigations to see the health of the animals. If the stomach is empty when they're meant to be feeding, that tells you something about the food chains in the oceans. Maybe something's happened there that's stopped the plankton from blooming. Maybe other animals are sort of out-competing them. So yeah, it can tell you a lot about not just the fish, but where it's been living and the whole sort of food web of the ocean.
And if we don't understand these different fish species' life histories, it can lead to decimation of fish populations.
These mackerel sexually mature at 2 years roughly, but all fish are different.
Absolutely. One place that went this sort of idea of knowing a fish's life history and using that to gauge sustainability was the orange roughy, which is a deep water fish. And it was thought that it bred a lot, but that data was actually wrong, and it led to this massive overfishing and a decimation of that population.
Bad data can be really dangerous. We thought orange roughy were very fertile, had lots of eggs, so we made our policy decisions based on how much we could fish on that information.
The impacts on our fisheries have been clear, and as we look to rebuild fish stocks globally, we'll need to engineer solutions that can adapt to a changing planet. To learn more about ways to keep our fisheries sustainable and find out how you can take action to make a positive difference in your community, visit Earth Echo International at earthecho.org. Earth Echo Expedition is sponsored by the Northrop Grumman Foundation. Northrop Grumman is a leading global security company dedicated to increasing STEM education opportunities for students and the teachers who inspire them.